Hi there, Bergman Lights here. Yeah, I got a new Coro prop from Charlie's Props. I'm going to paint it this year. I did it last year and it didn't come out quite so well. But when I went to the Pacific Northwest Mini, the Christmas Light Addiction Program group in Seattle, Washington, there was a presentation on how to paint coral. So here today I'm going to begin painting this tree. And so the first thing was recommended was you take something like acetone and you clean it off. There's residual like oils and things on the outside of it. So that's the first thing I'm going to take care of. Doing this outside because of the fumes from the acetone. Set the screwdriver out of the way. I'm just going to pour it out here. I got gloves on too to protect my hands. Acetone's a great solvent. And you can get a can of it from Home Depot for about $10. I can see that I'm getting some yellowish material coming off of the Coro. All right, so I'm going to let it kind of evaporate off. The acetone is really volatile. That's why I'm doing it outside, because of the fumes. When it dry, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the other side. So I've flipped over the coral here, and I actually put some wood underneath to flip it up so I don't get the dirt that's off of my my welding tables here. These are handy little benches that I use. And now to clean this side off. So now the acetone's I've cleaned off the surface. I'm going to rough it up with using some 220 grit sandpaper. Just going to lightly sand it to kind of roughen up the surface for the paint to stick to. Doesn't take a lot, not a lot of pressure. You want to get the entire surface. You want something for the paint to grip on. So that should be all it takes. Just a little light sanding. You can actually feel it's a little bit rougher. All right, so I'm going to install or put the painter's tape on. Just going to line it up with the edge of the star. Dare it and wrap it around. So I'll just make it a little longer and tear it and just wrap it around the edge. And I'll just keep doing this here to cover everything that's in close proximity to where the green tape is, where the green paint is going to be applied. So relatively simple process. I'll probably do overkill, but that's fine. Probably not as important right now as it is when I do the this paint the star afterwards, because I'll be applying paint along an edge there. All right, well, I'm going to finish taping this off camera. All right, so now I'm going to apply my green Krylon paint. I have this nice little handy handle, and this makes it easier on my fingers. I'm going to use that. You'll hear the fans go in the background. We've had a little rain here today, so it's a little damp out. So I've opened up the doors of my shop, got some fans going, so I can protect it from the fumes. So time to do the spray painting. And you'll see I have two of them here. I'm going to adding two of these to my show, so I'm doing two at the same time. Just do a quick inspection of the green paint on the main part of the tree. You will see here that it looks pretty solid, nice solid covering. I have two coats of the paint on it, and it's looking real good. You can see the reflection actually from the lights above on the Coro. You can a little bit see the lines there on it, but that's fine. And from a distance, that will not be an issue from the show. When people drive up during the day, they'll see a pretty green tree with a yellow star. I've applied the painter's tape to the top of the tree, and I took a utility knife and I cut along the edge to give myself a nice straight edge for the transition between the green and the yellow. And so what now I'm going to do is I'm going to shake up my spray paint can here for the yellow paint, and I'm going to paint my star. And then I'll let it all dry. And then it will be ready to put pixels in it. The paint is cured on my yellow star here, and now I'm going to take off the tape. I'll just start doing that right now. One of the things when I first tried painting coral props, I hadn't sanded or cleaned the surface with acetone, and when I pulled the tape up, it pulled up paint. It wasn't very good, and I had to try and do touch up. So with this new method, cleaning it and doing a very light sanding, the paint stays in place perfectly, and you don't have to worry about it. I mean, painter's tape doesn't stick very easily, stick very much, but it was enough to pull the paint up. And as you can see here, it's coming up with no problem, and the edges look really good. So there we go. I'll show on the screen here a shot of the edge there at the edge of the star, and you'll see how clean that edge is. So I've completed painting my coral trees. Worked out really well this time. A quick summary of the tools I used. First of all, I use acetone to clean off the surface. There's buildup of oils and greases potentially that need to be cleaned off of the coral surface. Once I did that, I did a light sanding with 220 grit sandpaper. Just the light sanding is all you need, just a little roughness for the paint to adhere to. Then I used masking tape, or I should say painter's tape, to cover up the areas I didn't want to paint when I applied my spray paint. And I used green and yellow for this particular project. And I have my handy utility knife that I use to cut the edges to make them nice and straight at the interface between the star and the tree. Like I said just a little bit earlier, you could paint other decorations on there if you wanted. You want to use an enamel-based paint for that. And you can, draw on with pencil, little decorations. You can get little stencils and do the same thing with that. So this concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped somebody out there. You guys have a wonderful day.